Do you want to deploy a SQL database on Azure in just a few minutes instead of hours? In this video, I will guide you to create an Azure SQL database in simplest way. No need to install SQL Server. No complicated configuration. Hi everyone, this is Phương. Let's get started, okay? Now we will go into the specific steps to create the first Azure SQL database on the Azure portal and load sample data. Assume you already have an Azure account. You can register for free if you don't have one yet. Follow these steps in order. First, we will create an Azure SQL database on the Azure portal. Log into the Azure portal with your Azure account. Okay? On the dashboard, click Create button. In the Marketplace search box, type Azure SQL and select Azure SQL from the results. Then under the SQL database section, click the Create button to start creating Azure SQL database. Next, we will configure uh, the SQL Server and set up authentication. Okay, on the Create SQL database screen, first select the uh, appropriate subscription. Okay, and resource group. If you don't have one, you can create a new one to manage various resources. Okay, next enter the database name in the database name field. For example, my first Azure SQL or any name you want. In the server session, click create new to create a SQL server. On the create SQL database server screen, perform the following steps to create the SQL DB server. Server name, set a unique name for the DB server. Location, choose the appropriate data center region. Authentication method, select use SQL authentication. Server admin login, set an admin login name. For example, SQL admin and password. Enter the password for the SQL admin account and confirm it. We must remember this password for future connections, okay? After filling everything in, click OK. Azure will create a new SQL Server and attach the database to it. Now we return to create a SQL database screen and go to the compute plus storage. Okay. Click configure database to customize the performance tier. In the compute tier section, select provision. In the service tier section, select basic tier. Uh, the basic tier provides basic performance suitable for testing or light workloads with the lowest cost. Click apply to apply the performance configuration. Okay. Next, in the backup storage redundancy section, select locally redundant backup storage. Okay. This option stores database backups in a local region to reduce cost. Switch to the networking tab. In the connectivity method section, select public endpoint to allow public connections to the database. This allows you to connect from your personal computer. Okay. And enable the allow other services and resources to access this server option. So other services can connect to this SQL server if needed. Enable add current client IP address option to add the computer's IP to the firewall, giving you machine access to the database. Okay. That switch to the security tab. In the server identity section, okay, you can uh, configure advanced security. Click configure identities to open the configuration page. On this screen, turn on system aside. Valid identity for the server. This will assign a valid identity to the SQL Server for future security integrations. Scroll to the bottom and click Apply to apply the settings. Okay, then switch to the additional settings tab. In the data source section, select sample. Other will automatically load a sample database into your SQL database. When the uh, confirmation box appears asking whether you want to use sample data, click OK to confirm. Okay, then review all the configured settings. Finally, click Review and create and then click create to start provisioning the database. Okay, the deployment process will take a few minutes. Azure will create the SQL database and server based on the configurations. When completed, you will see a success notification and you can access the management page of the database you just create. Okay. After deployment is complete on the Azure portal, you can go to the Azure SQL database you just created. Okay. On the database management page, click Query Editor to open the query tool. Query Editor will ask for login information. Login using SQL login with the username SQL admin and enter the corresponding password. Click OK to continue. Now we will run a simple query to view data in the query window. Enter the following command. Select from sales LT customer. Click run. The command above will return all data from customer table. The results will appear below in the results section showing the list of sample customers. Okay, next we will query the product table. Replace uh, the above command with sales LT product model. Okay, click run. This command will return the list of sample products in the product model table. Okay, now we will try a query with a filter collision. Suppose you want to find customers whose last names start with O R L. Okay, like select first name, last name, from sell customer where last name like ORL, click run. After running, the result returns 0 rows. Okay, meaning no customer has a last name starting with OIL. Okay, next let's try searching by first name starting with OIL. Click run. This time the result returns 2 rows. Okay, meaning there are customers whose first name starts with OIL, such as Orlando. Okay, okay, that's it. If you find the video useful, please like and subscribe. There are many more other hands-on lessons waiting for you. And leave a comment with your question or any other topic you want me to make. Like, I'll read every comment. I am Phương, and my mission is to help you learn cloud easier, faster, and more practically. See you soon. Okay?